See you all. You look so comfortable in those chairs. I gotta tell you, you better not fall asleep on me. Is that a deal? Okay, we'll wake you up and shake you. Throw you in the ocean. I am really happy to be here with all of you. I want you to relax down. Or are you planning to do something? You could be calling on people? Okay, later. We'll give me a couple of minutes. Anyway. This is a great pleasure for me. I'm really happy to be able to be here to share some people around the world to try to help make a difference. But, and I love your shirt, look at that. Never too young to lead. Now, do you believe that? Yes. Okay, you better believe that. Because it happens to be true. Young people, historically, have always made amazing differences in the life of countries everywhere. I know in my country, when I was in high school, is when I actually first became involved in politics. And then in college, many of our friends, my friends, me, others became involved in civil rights efforts in America, became involved in the environment movement, women's effort, trying to get an equal rights amendment, other things. And we're still breaking barriers, obviously, in America. I'm not allowed to be involved in partisan politics, but I don't think it's partisan for me to say how significant it is that the United States has nominated a woman to lead one of its major parties to be president of the United States. It's a huge step forward in terms of whether you're for her or against her. It's a big moment in the United States of America, and I think and other countries have been ahead of us in that, obviously. You know, Great Britain has its second woman prime minister, and other countries have had leaders. So, and here, Kerry Aquino, I worked very, very closely in the election process here in the Philippines a number of years ago, during the time when Kerry Aquino was running for president, a national movement for free elections in the Philippines was working. Excuse me. And I remember working very, very closely with them in an effort to make sure the elections were what everybody in the Philippines expected them to be. But here it's ocean rather than earth, because more of it is ocean. But the fact is that the oceans, with the fishing that's taking place, fishing has to be done sustainably. And if you don't fish sustainably, if you fish out a stock, particularly during the time of the year and the reproductive time of the year, you are depriving yourself, ourselves, of the future stocks of fish. And then all of a sudden, food begins to disappear. Work begins to disappear. Once upon a time in my home state of Massachusetts, while I was still a United States Senator, we had to stop all fishing completely for the striped bass because it was being fished so much it was disappearing. For 10 years, people were not allowed to fish striped bass at all. And guess what? The stock came back. And now people are able to fish. There's a limit on the size of the fish you can take and so forth. And the result is that we have a sustainable cycle of fishing taking place. Well, the same thing is true anywhere and not used for one purpose or another. Now, there have to be ways for us to implement some better rules on fisheries. And that's what we're trying to do right now. I am hosting in Washington in September, on the 15th and 16th of September, foreign ministers, environment ministers, and people will come from all around the world to Washington to join us in a 2-day conference called Our Ocean Conference. It's the third one that we've done. We did the first one the year after I came in as secretary. The next one, Chile agreed to do. We went to Chile and did that. This one we're doing, the last one while I'm secretary. Next year, the Europeans, the EU, have accepted to do it. The year after that, Indonesia has asked to do it. And I think there's one other country, Norway, wants to do it. So we have 3 years in the future that we will be continuing to focus on what you're working on right now. Now, fishing is one aspect of what's happening in the oceans that is dangerous. There's illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing taking place in the world. And on the high seas, it's very difficult to be able to enforce because you don't have ships out there, you don't have police out there, you don't have people who are making sure people are living by the rules. And so regrettably, because it's worth money, a lot of money, people send people out there and they wind up scooping up a lot of fish, a whole lot of fish. And we have these long monofilament lines out, fishing, drift net fishing. It's supposed to be not allowed, but some people still do it. And the result is that they are just strip mining the ocean. I mean, literally, just sweeps it out. There are worse things that happen. The second really big danger is pollution itself. Plastic, all kinds of plastic. 8 million tons of plastic is dumped into the ocean every single year. A year ago or so, we had a group of people who went out and did a cleanup. Young people, just like yourselves. They did it, maybe some of you were part of that here. Did a huge cleanup along the shoreline. And they collected 18 million tons of plastic in one day. That's enough for 100, the weight of that would be the equivalent of 100 737s, Boeing 737s airplanes. It's incredible. In a few years, if we keep going the way we're going, by 2050, which is not so far away, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than there will be fish. And the fish, what happens is the plastic breaks this down and marine mammals ingest it and they die, and birds and so forth, so it's a serious problem. The final challenge to the oceans that I'll just talk about today quickly is climate change. Climate change is warming the ocean, changing ocean current patterns, changing the capacity of certain things to live in certain places. The acidification that comes from the carbon dioxide that we put up into the sky, into the atmosphere, from the burning of coal and fossil fuels, that CO2 comes back and dumps into the ocean. And it raises the acidity of the ocean. Now, ask anybody who does agriculture, and they'll tell you that if you try to grow a plant in your garden, you're trying to grow a tree or flowers, it depends on the level of acidity in the earth as to what can prosper and what doesn't prosper. Some things like a lot of acidity, some things don't. But in the ocean, the acidity, the carbon dioxide breaks down and becomes carbonic acid. And that gets into the systems of crustaceans, clams, lobsters, different kinds of hard shell animals, etc., marine mammals. And what happens to them is they break down. And we're beginning to see mutations. We see clams that, depending on the level of acidity, it goes from a big clam with little acidity to a very, very small clam with lots of acidity. And that's going to affect the food cycle. So I'm going to end and get you involved in this conversation. I just want to tell every one of you, see, it's much more complicated than people think. It's a great big ocean. It's wonderful to tip your toes in it and swim in it and go to the beach and enjoy it, but it needs to be protected. And that's why all of you at this sea camp are really doing, such an important way to spend your time. And I really appreciate what you're up to. The final thing I'll just mention to you. We are announcing a program called 1,000 Actions for Our Ocean, which you're aware of, I think. It's in order to help people choose to do the kind of thing that did that cleanup before, when people got all of that garbage out of the oceans. And I hope every single one of you is going to come up with a really good idea for some kind of action in some way for you to be able to make a difference. So, on that note, I see you're all still awake. So let me throw it open. Let's have a discussion. Let me answer any questions, or just share with me some observation that you have about what you're learning here at the camp and what we need to be thinking about. Who wants to go first? And are you going to run this, or do you want me to just call on something?
We'll start with the recent YCDC camp. We granted a few projects, so that's
okay. Great.
Good morning, Mr. Center. My name is Don, and this is my friend Chicky. Okay? Say guys.
That's okay. That's okay.
Currently, we are working on a project called Exposy. Now, it is an exposure and educational activity.
What's it called?
Exposy.
Expose.
Yes, on word play.
It's a play on the words expose and see.
Right. So it's an exposure education technique for the school children in the direct hotspot. It's an exposure and educational technique for the local school children in the direct spot of Manila. It's around a 3-hour drive from here.
So contrary to popular belief, it's not always the locals of such sites who truly benefit from the dive tourism industry. So what we want to do through Project Expose, we want to hold a snorkeling workshop, games, and basic lectures that aim to develop in its participants the attitudes, skills, and knowledge necessary for becoming effective future marine leaders.
That's cool. That's great. So you're going to get lots of local folks. Are you going to focus on young people or are you going to focus on everybody?
Our target group is 13 to 17 years old.
13 to 17.
Yes.
And how are you going to reach people? Through schools or?
Yes, the local public
School.
elementary school.
Will you do this year round or
We're,
summertime?
we're targeting August 27, this August 27.
And you'll go through the year?
First going to start with a one-day workshop.
Okay.
We have to test it out first.
And see how you can build out from there. Well, congratulations. That's a great idea. Thank you. That's wonderful. Good for you. Hi there.
Hi,
How are you?
good morning, sir. My name is Pam Hubert. I am a YCDC participant from Caloocan City, Metro Manila. And the name of my project is called Screen Your Sunscreen.
Screen.
Your Sunscreen.
Oh, screen your sunscreen. I love that. I know what's coming here.
So, Screen Your Sunscreen is a social media-led digital initiative which aims to raise awareness on the negative effects of oxybenzone, a chemical found in most commercial sunscreens, on our coral reefs and marine life. So after the project, what we want to happen is that we want consumers to screen and read the labels first and be more conscious of what they purchase, and hopefully they support our locally made, reef-friendly products.
I love it. It's great. And let me tell you something, everybody. Largest organ in your body? Largest organ in your body? Skin, correct? And it's porous. And whatever you put on it goes through your system. So a lot of people aren't aware of that. They've got to think, and so your idea of awareness about screening sunscreens is really important. My wife made me do that. I'm telling you, I didn't know anything about it. My wife said, you're putting poison on yourself. And I finally, so now I only use the right stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, thank you.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
What'd you do? Stack the front seat here? Is that only the front seat? Go ahead.
Sir, my name is Patrick Wigan. I'm a YCDC camp participant from Ross City Campus in Panayan.
Like really close and talk a little bit slower so everybody can hear you and understand you.
Yes. Hello, sir. Yes. So my name is Patrick Wigan. I'm from Campus in Visayas. I'm a YCDC camp participant, and my project is entitled Junior Collaboration. So this project is composed of classroom discussions and workshops that aim to empower and inform young students on the effects of coal dust and health in the environment, specifically the marine life of Manila Bay. So this community is important because it is the only coal stockpile in the Philippines which is present in the urban setting, which is here in Metro Manila, and it is beside Manila Bay. So through this, we can inform and empower the children on the effects of coal dust, as well as make them partners in tackling this environmental issue as well.
So how are you, this is great. You've got a project to show people the effect of coal dust in Manila Bay and to educate people about that. But how do you do that? Where do you get your data from?
Based from the government data, because
From where? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
from the data of the government service.
The data of the
There are many
government
studies-
service.
There are many studies that show that
Okay.
the coal dust has an effect on the respiratory health as well as the environment, because it is beside Manila Bay. So the waste of the coal stockpile just goes Manila Bay.
That's so great. Good for you. That's a huge service to people, very important. Is the government taking notice of those levels, and are they trying to do something about it?
So far, sir, it's in the process of closing. So there are many NGOs who support the closing of those.
NGOs are working on this.
But the focus of the project, sir, is young students to empower and empowerment in that.
Well, keep working for it. Keep organizing and make sure you make your voice heard on that because it's really important. Thank you.
Secretary, I would like to thank you for the time that you spent with us this morning.
You kicking me out of here already?
I've been instructed
You've been instructed. All right. Well, I'm sorry it's so short. I love being here. I really love being here.
You know you have a busy day ahead, so
Well, I have a good day ahead. I'm going to meet with your foreign minister. I'm going to meet with your president. And unfortunately, it's a slightly tight visit because the schedule is a little bit crazy now. But can I leave you with just one thought? Not more than a minute. You really can make a difference. And everybody needs you. Your country needs you. We need you. We need young people to be part of the political process and make sure it's transparent and accountable and that people hear your voices and that political people respond to the needs of people broadly. That's what's so important. And you have a lot of power as young people. And the future is yours. So thank you all for being here and being part of this.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Nasi Sayo Tagalog, maraming salamat. So we'd like to request the C campers to please proceed to the lawn for the photo. Thank you.
Kuya, kuha ka na. Sa kanila na ba?